If your spinning reel's not feeling like it once did, a little bit grindy, not as smooth like it used to be, well, I'm gonna walk you through all the places you need to oil and all the places you need to grease your spinning reel to bring this thing back to life after a season of abuse. Let's hop in. So the first thing you wanna do is remove this drag cap, right? And if this is your first time removing the drag cap, well, congratulations, because what you might find when you pull this off, move that off to the side and pull off the spool, you might find 3 feet of fishing line just bunched up under here, just sitting under there like a squatter who's not paying rent, right? So pull all of that out. That alone might fix a lot of your problems, but still follow these steps. So you want to grab your oil. I love the Lucas fishing reel oil. And let's hit those critical lubrication points. Number 1 and number 2 is going to be right here and right here. These are your bail arm connections. So you're going to need 1 drop of oil, just 1. You don't need more than 1. And 1. And then just keep on moving that back and forth. Let that seep in there. Number 2 is going to be your handle knob. So 1 drop right there, and let that work itself in. So the 4th place you're going to want to oil is going to be your line roller right here. So you take 1 drop of oil, let that seep into there. Take a rubber band, right, and work that back and forth. Get that oil into that bearing. There's a bearing in there. And so work that back in there. Or if you want to, you can take that screw off right there, pull the bearing, this over to the side, put the oil in there if you want to go through the hassle. I have no problem, and I'm not getting a lot of friction there. And so I'm fine with just putting the oil in right there. So work that in with that rubber band. Next up is going to be the spindle shaft. So you guys see right here, there's a lot. This is grease, factory grease that they put in there. And so you can take some of that grease and go and put it on that shaft since it fell off if you want. Or if it's bone dry and you don't have grease, you can put 1 drop of oil. Now don't put 2, because I heard it, that's never happened to me, but if you get a lot of oil there and shove it down in there, it could slip into your anti-reverse and then you got issues. And so if it's bone dry, 1 drop of oil, and I confirm this through the manufacturer's website. Now we got 2 more critical points, and a lot of times this is the culprit for why it doesn't feel that smooth. And so you're going to take this cap off, and this will break free, so you can take off the handle. And what you'll find in here is a bearing right there. You flip it over, you'll see a bearing right there. So 1 drop of oil, not in the middle of the hole, or on the outside, so it gets into that bearing. There's 1. And let that move around, kind of seep in there. Flip it over. 2. I like put it like sideways. I don't want the oil to come back out. And put your handle back on. A little snug. Put the cap back on. And then let it seep into the bearing. I want to use gravity to help pull that oil down into the bearing. That's why I'm flipping it back and forth. There we go. Now we got to get into the body of this because we got some places we're going to want to grease in there. So before I break this open, I get questions all the time. Like, can I use other lubricants? Like, can I use WD-40? And no, hard no, right? WD-40 is the degreaser. It strips out every bit of lubrication on your reel. And so what you get is, ooh, that feels smooth for like 10 minutes. And it's why people swear by it, followed by 6 months of why does my reel sound like a coffee grinder? So don't use WD-40. Another thing I get is gun oil. Can I use gun oil? So technically yes, but it's not ideal. You gotta understand the reel oil is like water thin, low drag. It's designed for really tight tolerances and it washes off fast. That's why you have to reapply it more often. Gun oil is like a medium viscosity, right? It's designed for heat and pressure, and it's really too thick for a lot of the bearings that we're putting it in. And it makes reels feel like slower gummy. So I would not use gun oil. Another one I get is Vaseline. Can I use Vaseline? No. You can't use Vaseline. Vaseline destroys some plastics, it swells rubber seals, and really it just melts when it gets warm. So no on Vaseline. And another one I get is silicone grease. So I would skip that one. It repels water, but it really does nothing for friction, right? It's basically like putting chapstick on your reel. So I know it's tempting to kind of use what you got, but highly recommend just getting the right oil for the job. I'm going to put a link to this in the description below. Now let's open up this body. I'm going to show you where you can grease some gears. In order to get into this body, it looks like I'm going to have to take off this screw and I'm going to have to take off this screw. So I can get a small screwdriver. Let's go ahead and take those off. It's a little different for every spinning reel. I've had it where you can take like the side plate of the cap off. This one's a little bit different, so this is going to be interesting. And I want to show you something. So usually I have a paper towel so you don't lose these screws. Something here, I'll show you. Let me pull this over. There you go. A white paper towel is nice, so you can see the screws and don't get lost or bounce away. All right, so that's one. Let's take the other one off. All right, something to notice here. Let me make it real clear. Because this screw right here, the long one, which went on the bottom, and this screw are different sizes, right? Not the same size. So keep a mental note or take pictures or whatever, and just know that this is going to be off the bottom. This is going to be the other one. So one's small, one's long. Now, I know it's tempting. If this is not coming off, that means you're missing a screw somewhere or something's not right, or you need to adjust your arm in order to get that off. So sometimes it's weird. This rotor has to be lined up correctly, but this one, it's really easy. It's taking that off, and now you can see the inside of how this all works. And it, my friends, is not dry at all. This has a ton of grease in here. So essentially what you're looking for is a metal on metal, which is a lot of metal on metal. So your main drive gear right here. You have all kinds of other gears in here. Your slide, you have a pinion right here in your main drive. So I can tell by looking at that main drive as I spin it around, there's not a lot of grease on that. There's a lot of grease in here. It just got pushed aside. And so I am not going to put any additional grease. If this thing was bone dry, I'd be putting this Penn Precision Real Grease on, blue. But I don't need to in this case. I'm just going to use, with the paintbrush, that has went off to the side. I'm going to paint it back onto those gears and onto that main drive gear. And basically just utilize the grease that was in there. Move it a little bit. Grab some more, paint it. So you're just painting where there's going to be metal on metal, using what is already in there. I'm going to make sure that slide opens up all the way before it comes back down. It's right there. Paint the slide, paint the main, and then just check it. Move all around. And on this one, I'm good to go. That looks a lot better. Oh yeah, I can just tell on the feel of that bad boy. Boom. So another question I get is, how often should I do this? And it's really not time-based, because if I say every 3 months, that might be, for me, I'm on the water 60 times using this reel, and for somebody else it might be 2 times in a sunburn. So don't do it time-based. You really just have to listen to your reel, the feel of your reel. If it doesn't feel smooth as butter, then it'd be a good idea to jump in here and do that. Now, one last thing that a lot of people miss, and it will actually cost you fish. So when you put your spool back on, you put your drag cap on, reset your drag right now, because a lot of times what happens, guys get lazy, like, I'll do this later. It feels good when they tie on their lure. They forget that they oil and grease the reel, and on that first hook set it goes because they didn't set their drag. So make sure you set your drag right now, and so you don't learn that lesson on a big fish, because if you don't set that hook past the barb or get it nice and pinned, you will lose it. So don't let oiling and greasing your reel miss you a big fish. Now I'm just guessing, if you have a spinning reel, you probably have a bait caster reel as well, and I have the nitty gritty on how to get in there and oil and grease that one. You can check that out right there. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.